Om Sai Ram. We will start the study circle with 3 Omkarams, please. Sai Ram. Sai Ram, everyone.
Sai Ram.
We will continue from last week. I think where we are is the devotee is troubled that people who are educated, who he thinks is educated, are finding fault with Swami and spinning various tales about him without really understanding him. And he's extremely troubled. And then Swami is going on to explain to him how we have to deal with such situations in the world. Because all of us will face similar situations in life because people may find issues with our belief in Swami, which is actually based on our own personal experience, but sometimes we are troubled by others. And when people speak negatively without any knowledge, listening to that and thinking about it can cause unnecessary disturbance in our own minds. So that's where we are. We will continue with the study circle today, and we will see where Swami takes us and how he explains us. Thank you very much. Sai Ram. Sai Ram, Sister Kalyani, you can continue reading, please.
Swami, those who find fault with the Lord are of 4 types. 1, people who have no interest at all in matters related to God. 2, people who, on account of individual spite, cannot endure another's greatness. 3, people who have neither personal experience, nor contact, nor knowledge of anything, and so merely manufacture stories based on hearsay, to which they have become enslaved. 4, people who come with some worldly desire and who accuse the Lord as an excuse for the failure caused by their own destiny.
Thank you, Sister Kalyani. So as you can see, Swami is categorizing people who talk negatively about God in general into 4 categories. First one is people who really don't care about anything of spiritual nature or even God, I guess. People who have everything in this world, who are enjoying life, who believe that they have everything and they don't have to depend on anyone else in this world. Such people talk disparagingly about God or anything related to God. Then there are people in this, it's a worldly phenomenon when people feel that someone else is successful in other people's eyes. They feel a spite, which they want to give vent in their words which they speak about them, and just manufacture stories or say things negative. It is just jealousy and spite. Then there are 3rd kind of people who may be genuinely interested, who are good people, but they don't have any personal experience and they have not sought any knowledge about the topic at hand. And because they may be filling their heads with other people's information, because even we are coming to study circle, we are coming to learn from Swami, because we respect him as God's incarnation on earth. To come to Swami and to be able to learn, we need to throw out whatever we have gathered from this world in terms of even knowledge, because that can become an impediment too. So many people who are good people, who may have read all sorts of things, thinking that they are spirituality, because there could be some issues with some of the information which we get from other places. And when we come to Swami and observe Swami or experience, we may be there may be doubts, and that causes big problem for many people. Though they are sincere seekers. And the fourth categories are people who come to God only to get something, some material benefit. Maybe they're going through some difficulty. They want a solution for that. And they pray. They just came and they pray for a few days or a few months and they think everything should be okay. And then they also get disillusioned. So they are the four kinds of people Swami is talking about. So I will just stop here and I will turn it over to all the participants to share whatever impressions we have got. Because, sorry. I guess no one is saying anything. I just wanted to mention that, what these four things Swami is listing, I think we have to look at these and see who we are and where do we fit. Do we have some taint of something in this? And we need to remove it from ourselves also. I think that is the lesson for us. We should take interest in spiritual matters. I think that's the first thing. The second one is we should never, if somebody is doing well, somebody is great, and somebody is popular, somebody is successful, we should not have a negative feeling about their success. We should neither feel jealous or envy. And the third thing is we should always know that we may not know much. We have to gather knowledge. We have to be open-minded. And we need to strive to see whether we can get a personal experience by putting Swami's teachings into practice also, I think. And those are things which we can do so that our faith becomes stronger. Then the fourth one is we should always understand that what we experience in this life, in this world, in our lives, whether some failure or some problem, those are all brought about by our own karma, our own destiny, actions which we have indulged in either in this life or past lives. God will help us face those challenges as best as we can, but we cannot undo the situation because we have brought it upon ourselves. So it's something which we have to tell ourselves so that our faith in the Lord is not diminished in any way. And those are thoughts I thought I will say, but if anyone has something to say, please say. We'll wait for about 5 to 10 seconds and then we will go on to the next slide if there's no one who has any comments or any questions or thoughts. Sairam, Sister Kalyani, I think you can go on.
Swami, only these four types of people clamor, as you say. The others won't shout or jump about like puppets. Even if they don't have personal experience, when they hear such stories, they will just analyze them within themselves and arrive at conclusions for their own satisfaction. They won't abuse others. It is not the correct path to disbelieve one's own mind and give room therein to another's words. Besides, there is no profit in discussing with those who don't know the reality. As a matter of fact, reality does not admit of any discussion at all. To argue with those who don't know either, but who are in the intermediate stage, is like seeing the trunk and believing it to be the entire body, as in the story of the blind man and the elephant.
Sister Kalyani, I think you can read the next, I think a some more section. Swami is talking.
Well, note this. It is not good to spend time in this type of conversation. Abuse and fault-finding are natural and common. Knowing this, those who aspire to become true devotees should search only for bases on which to build their bliss, ananda. All available time should be used for holy purposes. It should not be wasted. You have nothing to do with the good and the bad in others. Instead of wasting time, utilize it to discard the bad and develop the good in you. Ask me about some spiritual exercise or instruction that you need, and seek something that is worthwhile. Hereafter, don't bring me such stories of fault-finding indulged in by others. You shouldn't take in such things.
Thank you, sister. This time I will ask, Swami is basically continuing on the same strain, and Swami is giving us instructions as to what we should do. It should be reasonably clear. So I thought I will just leave it to the participants to say something, or somebody can paraphrase it in your own words as you understand. That will also be helpful for others. Sai Ram.
Hi, Ram.
Sai Ram.
I like to draw the attention to the line, you have nothing to do with the good and the bad in others. So sometimes we praise others. Sometimes, the praising others is also not our business actually. Because if we try to praise, then it is we who we then when find something wrong in others, we start to blame. So it looks like that both have to be avoided. That's I would like to say. Thank you, Saira.
Sai Ram, brother. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sai Ram. Anyone, please, someone is trying to say. Those who are on the phone, for you yourself to unmute, you'll have to press star and 6. If you're on the phone, please press star and 6 so that you'll be able to speak.
Ram, I think the Swami, the key sentence or the key point Swami is telling is that once you are a spiritual aspirant, you want to progress in spirituality, the only thing you have to focus and worry about is improving yourself, remove the bad qualities in you, and so means fully focus on your inner purity and development. So I think that's a key point. I think so. Silent.
Sai Ram, brother. Sai Ram. Anyone else would like to share something, please?
Sairam, just a question. In the previous paragraph where Swami says, it is not the correct path to disbelieve one's own mind and give room therein to another's words. But I guess sometimes what we may think in our mind may be the wrong thing. And then Swami is saying there's no point in discussing with those who don't know the reality and those who are in the intermediate stage. But I guess most people that we encounter, even in the Sai Center, are sort of in that intermediate stage. So I guess if we do have a question about something in our mind, should we not try to seek answers from other people?
Very good, sister. Very good question. I think I will ask anyone else would like to speak, please. Comment on what sister has asked. Swami says we should believe in our own mind, but there could be situations where our mind itself is wrong. So in such situations, how do we get help. How, should we not listen to others? Is the question sister is asking. So what does Swami mean by this? I think it's a very valid question for all of us. So I will just open it up for everyone, please.
It looks Bhavan is referring to the finding fault, those the negative part, no? If we are really desirous of learning spiritual aspect, of course, we have to ask the people who are well involved in that, and so that sentence in Bhagavan's passage is referring to what the negative aspect. I think that's I am thinking. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brothers. Anyone else? Side of brother, go ahead.
So if the person asks some questions in the progress of liberation with a good hearted, if he wants to find out on the spiritual basis, on the good, wants to gain some knowledge, then we can discuss about that one. Or if the person is trying to put you down, you should not affect it. You have to move on your spiritual. Otherwise, that person maybe put you down too. It will affect your spiritual side. That's all, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone?
Saira, this is Ananti. In this particular paragraph, Swami indicated that you have nothing to do with the good and the bad in others. Does it mean that whether you shouldn't say even someone has done some good thing, whether you shouldn't compliment that, or it could mean differently, whether you shouldn't categorize any people as whether this is a good person, this is a bad person, because you don't have the judgmental ability to categorize the people. These people are good people, these are people are bad people. Maybe if someone clarifies, maybe I would like to hear what does it really mean by this one? You have nothing to do with the good and the bad in others. In my understanding, maybe Swami would have pointed out that whether you shouldn't simply justify any person. Only maybe the God knows what's their intention, what they are doing. Maybe in a human level, maybe as an ordinary person level, maybe we don't have the judgmental ability. Maybe if someone clarifies or discuss, it would be beneficial, of course, for me, maybe others too. Thank you, Sila.
Thank you very much, sister. So that's the second question which has come up. So there are two questions outstanding, I think. One is Sister Kalyani's question about how to depend on our own mind. And then now Sister Ananti has asked, if we are not, how do we deal with other people's good or bad? Should we not say anything good about other people? But Sivadas, do you want to comment on that? Because I think you had found that statement very interesting and good. Do you have any thoughts about it?
Okay, Saira, let me try it, because I know that even in the Sai Centres, if you go on praising people, or mentioning the name, or he has done that, and if not for him, this wouldn't have happened. So those things, in a way, might spoil the person we are referring to, so if we try to praise like that, then if we find some errors in that person, and we may say, see, but this person is doing like this. So this is none of our business. No, if we are spiritually focused, and let us concentrate. Everything is Sai, and everybody Sai is in everyone. So let me develop and see the goodness everywhere. That you don't need to praise or blame. No? That's what my understanding of this one. But you better explain it.
Sairam, I think regarding the first question, it's already, I think Sivadas and Dasan has answered clearly. If you don't know anything or any genuine doubts in spiritual matters or ethical matters, of course you have to ask those who are more well versed in that, and those who are genuine devotees. That is obvious. But here, what Swami means is don't listen to each and every one, and that may confuse you. So that is very clear. But when we read, we have to understand those things. But for the second question, I agree with Sivadas. It's for children in SSC, that's different. For children, we have to motivate. Always, you have to, recognize a good thing in them or what they do. So even that, you have to do a little bit careful without. When you praise one child, the other child might think might get affected in a negative way. But so you have to do it carefully, even among children. But regarding adults in Sai Centres, as Sivadas said, it's we have to keep it very minimum. You know, it's not necessary. Adults are mature; they have to focus on their spiritual these things. There's no need to praise or blame. Everyone has to. So I agree with Sivadas. Thanks.
Thank you very much, brother.
Sairam.
Yes, sister.
Sairam, yeah. I have sometime think in Sai Centres, when they come as a newcomer, say they heard something about Swami. Sometimes they want to do something for the children education. Some other devotees say, okay, our children are coming here, they are doing good and things like that. When they come, sometime our Sai Centres people always, I believe, they think when they come, they always think suddenly they have to accept Swami and they have to do whatever they do. They have to come, immediately. They sometimes they expect so they have to believe Swami. They have to accept Swami as a God. I think in progress they will come, but we have to live with their own beliefs and own karma and own the Guru. Accepting Guru is their karma also. We shouldn't say, sometimes people say, okay, I am in 20 years here, I believe I am a devotee, things like that. I believe that is also not good to say. Still, I don't say anyone to say like I am a Sai devotee or anything like that, because that is also not good, I think. I never say like that, because that is Swami only knows. I don't know. Sairam.
Sairam, sister. Does anyone have anything to say? So then maybe I will add. Sorry, go ahead, please, sister. Sister Dushi, please go ahead.
Yes, Chaira. For Sister Kalyani's question, I was thinking whether it means listen to your conscience. Your conscience is the guru. So you can either read some spiritual books to find the answer, or sit in quietly in meditation to find the answer yourself rather than ask somebody. Because we are all Atma. The answer is inside you, but it's not easy to find the answer yourself. But if you ask somebody, it could be biased. So that's what I was wondering. Saira.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. So I will attempt to give what I think is an answer from my perspective. Swami has, I think if you go back to the Sandeha Nivarini first chapter onwards, Swami is telling, Guru is everything. You ask him for everything. And that was a statement which Swami made in chapter 1. Swami is repeating that sentence even here in this answer which he's giving. If you go to the last paragraph, Swami said, ask me about some spiritual exercise or instruction that you need, and seek something that is worthwhile. So Swami is saying, seek from me. Okay. If you have accepted Swami as Guru, try to find answers from me, is what Swami is saying. So, and it's the same theme which Swami has from the beginning. So I think we have to have someone as Guru. If no Guru, then we have to rely on God until such time. And we have to rely totally on them for any our need, and especially the spiritual needs. Because we have a tendency to listen to every person on the street sometimes, people whom others may be thinking they're spiritual, because we really don't have any personal experience about them. But we still spend a lot of time listening to others, and that can cause us problem because we really don't know who they are. So Swami says, always seek all the answers from your Guru. Number one. Number two, then he wants us to be convinced of the answer. And if we have questions, we have to seek from him the answer also, clarification also. And if you believe in the Guru, if that he will give, Swami or God, who is all pervasive, he will somehow send you the answer. And in one place, Swami has said, when you study the scriptures, I think in one paragraph, Swami is talking about, listen to the scriptures when you don't have a Guru, and they will guide you. And the only thing which Swami says is, if you don't understand anything, reach out a Pandita, means someone who has studied before, who you have respect for, who you think seems to have understood. Then you can reach out that person and get clarification. Even those clarification, ultimately, you have to evaluate within your own mind whether it's right or wrong. And I think that's why Swami is saying, your own mind, because we all of us think. But our thinking should not be, because so-and-so said, we want to believe it. No, we should be convinced in our own mind after going through an analysis, even from Guru, even from Swami. Only then we will have total conviction. I think there's another place where Swami says, if elders tell something, do we have to believe? Is a question asked. And then Swami says, no, you, as long as you don't understand, you have your right to ask them the explanation, and you need to be convinced. Only then you can practice. So I think we can always ask Swami, because we have all chosen him and we have come to study from him. And if you don't understand, we can discuss among ourselves as to what, I mean, that's what we are doing in a study circle also. Because we are all discussing and we are trying to learn from each other who are in the same path, who has the same interest. I think that is what Swami is saying. So I think the most important thing is, I think to the second question also, which is more or less related about the good and bad of others. The reality is we will observe the good or bad actions of other people, and that is unavoidable. And I think we should. But I think the most important thing is in the last sentence of Swami, he basically says, you should not take in such things. So I think by that, because if you, even this chapter starts with the devotee being upset. He is troubled by somebody saying something. So I think even about good or bad about others, if we see something good in others, if we think we can benefit and put it into our practice, we should just do that. We should not say, oh, that person is a good person, and talking to everyone about that doesn't help us know that person. So I think sometimes we think about it day in and day out. That means we have taken that in and we are spending or wasting time. If you have seen something good, if you can practice it, I think we should take and practice it. If you see something bad which somebody has done, we should know that is bad. I will not practice it, and that's it. Because sometimes we have the tendency, we say the centers, so-and-so is doing something, they should not be doing it, which may be fine. But the thing is, we should not think about it. We should not take it inside our head and think about it again and again and trouble ourselves, is what I think Swami says. So we can always observe, but what we do with that information in our head is, I think, what matters, from what I understand. others can share your thoughts, please, if there's something else you
Saira,
would like to say.
Saira. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Sister Lily.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I totally agree with that, because when we start thinking about, yes, this is good, this is bad, this person is good, we are actually judging the person, and we are judging the person based on our own experience and what our made up is in terms of our mind, and our thoughts are based on our own experiences and may not be exactly what that person has gone through. So we need to really stop. Even Swami says that even just having an idea that, oh, I'm a Sai devotee, I know everything, itself is not good, because then you have the ego that comes into your play. So we have to be really careful. Just look at a situation, a problem objectively, rather than, getting it cluttered with our own mind and thoughts. I'll give you an example. Whether, it's a good thing. Like, once I actually see a Sai Center devotee after a few years, and then I comment on her hairstyle, saying, "Akka, you look so lovely in that hairstyle," right? And then because she has completely changed her hairstyle, totally different, and she looked stunning. And then I said, so we all sit down. Couple of minutes, the bhajan was supposed to start. And then she turned around and then said to me, she touched my shoulders and said, Lilini, this is not my own hair, right? And then it dawned on me, oh my God, right? Like, what is it that I've actually asked? And then she later goes on to say that she's been suffering from cancer, and then this is a hair wig that she was wearing. Then I looked at her, but oh my God, Akka, you look so well, and you look so good. I didn't think, I'm sorry. And she said, Swami has made it in such a way that, I don't feel the pain. Doctors are saying that I'm in the last stage, but I haven't felt any pain. So that's why you don't see it in my face. So the experience, the reason I'm sharing it is, here I'm thinking, oh, she looks so stunning, she looks fine, but she's not. In her own experience, she's going through sickness, right? So then I realized I need to really stop analyzing, stop putting things on my own head, because we don't know what the other person's path is. So we just have to realize that, once you understand this is everyone's own path is different, it's okay. Sometimes they do right thing or the wrong thing or whatever, but we are all together in the spiritual path. And unconditional love is what is exactly needed. And then once you bring in that, I think the path is easier. Every situation unfolds itself. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sisters. Thank you very much. Does anyone have anything to add or share your thought, please? If not, we will go on to the next pair of question and answers, please. Sairam, Sister Kalyani.
Devotee, all this happened because we also have the same human nature. But now that I understand the subject from your answers, courage and joy have entered into me, driving away the doubt and sorrow I had. Through the talk of such men, even the little faith, devotion, and earnestness that men have are being reduced. That was why I asked you these questions. Otherwise, I have also nothing to do with such topics. Pardon me. Hereafter, I won't talk along these lines to you. Swami, very good. During the little time available, if you don't think of some good subject, but merely recollect the ignorant prattle of others, it is as if you joined in blaming those people. That is harmful to devotees. Whatever others may say, don't give up your faith. Once you are firmly established in that, you will not be in want any day. One word following another produces anger and pain. The path of devotion, Bhakti Marga, is designed to suppress, not develop these qualities. You tell me that such devotion and faith disappear because people listen to such accusers, but for how long? As soon as the truth is discovered, will they be trusted again? Will their words be valued again? The talk of those fault finders is as good as the sound of bronze. Cheap metals make more sound. Gold, which does not make sound, is very valuable. True devotees will be mute. They will follow the path of silence. Their tongues will be fully engaged in the repetition of the essential greatness of the Lord. It is best that they have no respite for any other word. So don't permit the words of the bronze-voiced people to enter your ears, but fill them with the name of the Lord, which is the Om, Pranava sound itself. Next month, if you get any problems regarding such useful topics as spiritual exercise or action, Anushtana, come here and have them solved, but don't bring with you bundles of such doubts.
Thank you, sister. Sairam, everyone. So again, the lines are open for you to share any thoughts or impressions you have from these words of Swami. And the devotee also. So I think Swami is talking us about, not listening to such words and putting them into our heads and troubling our head with that. And we should know when something is troubling our head that we should throw it out and not engage in thinking about thoughts which are troubling. And Swami says we should just focus on what will improve us so that we can continue on the path of devotion. If we have feelings of anger and pain, then I think they are signs that what our mind is doing with thoughts is not right. And so that's what I thought. So we have to always be engaged in repeating the glory of the Lord and repeating the name, as Swami says. Otherwise, we should keep silent, and as what devotee Swami expects to do. I think so those are the thoughts which I have from these paragraphs. If anyone else would like to share your thoughts or impressions, please go ahead.
Sairam, focus on thoughts. That's mean you have to know right and wrong. Am I correct?
Yes, sister.
So we have to analyze it accordingly to go on the right path, which doesn't mean we are looking on people, they are good or bad. But our intellectual has to say, this is right, this is wrong. That, as a devotee, shouldn't we practice that?
Very good question, sister. So I think we have all spoken about not indulging, judging others and things like that. So I think sister's question is, do we just have a blind eye and deaf ear, not getting the information to do the analysis to decide whether it's right or wrong? Can anyone discuss your thoughts about this, please? I think if no one is volunteering, I will start saying, but if anyone has something to say, please interrupt me and say. I think, by what Swami is saying is, Swami is not telling us not to discriminate. I think that's a must for every single sadhaka. When we get inputs, we have to process it, and then we need to know what to do with it. Swami gives the example of a tongue. Swami says, when you put something on the tongue will evaluate whether it's good or bad. If it's good, it will send it in. If it's bad, it will throw it out. It will spit it out. So the same thing the mind also has to do. If we have to evaluate every single input which comes our way, whether it's good or bad. And if we don't do that, then we lack what is called discrimination. I think what Swami is talking about is, for example, in this case, this devotee listened to someone talk. He couldn't help, the words entered his ear, it went into his head, and he realized that's all false. The logic of the other person is faulty, it's ill-informed. So that is a decision that Buddhi would have done. And at that point in time, the person has to decide, do I take it in and make it part of my memory, positive memory, or I throw it out and then don't think about it. I think that is what Swami is talking about, because in this case, the devotee has taken it in, and it's a negative thing, but he has taken it in, and it is just bothering the person. Swami says that is not going to be of any help to either you or to the person who spoke. So I think that kind of tendency of dwelling on something unnecessarily is what I think Swami is talking about here. That's what he meant by taking it in. He didn't say you need to evaluate. He didn't say you should evaluate. Evaluation of people's actions is the right thing to do, but that is, you should judge the action, but you should not be judgmental about the person, because then you should not see, oh, this person has done this, or this person must be bad, and all sorts of things. That is unnecessary for us to engage in. I think that's what Swami is trying to say. So we should not neglect the need to look at the world and other people's actions and words and evaluate whether it's right or wrong, good or bad. But what is good, we take in. The action or the principle we should take in, not the person himself, and start thinking about that person. We should take that action and say, this is something which is worthwhile. I'm going to keep it for myself and practice it. It's like eating a fruit. You take a fruit, you look at the fruit, peel the skin, eat the fruit, maybe you throw out this seed also, which you cannot digest. So I think the same way, we have to walk around the world. We should take it in, evaluate, throw out what is bad, take in what is good, which is for our own progress. I think it's important. So I think we should not neglect the need for discrimination and evaluating everything which we come across. That is my personal view. I think I will stop here. I will let anyone else who wants to say something go ahead and say. Saira.
Thank you, brother.
Sairam, as you Aruna said, I just want to make this point. Swami always, in discourses, has said, you breathe in the air, take the oxygen in, take it in, and breathe out the carbon dioxide. Be like that always, everywhere and in everyone, all around. The good and bad are mixed. You can't find purely good or purely bad. So you have to discriminate and take that's why that another song says you take in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. So just like that, take the good in. And so for that, discrimination is inevitable. And also this analogy in the spiritual parlance always said, when a plant is at the early stage, you have to put a fence around. But when it grow up into a big tree, even the goats or cattle, when it was small, they would have eaten, but now they will come and rest under the tree. So until your faith becomes strong, you have to uh, guard yourself with, with your associations and all that. But after that, it doesn't matter. Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much.
So,
Sairam, anyone? Yes.
so the thing is that looking the goodness in everyone, no? There's nobody whom we can hate or discard or anything. Baba tolerated so many defects in devotees. No, he never take it into heart and discriminate that those people. So everyone is Sai in the form of Sai. So we look at we look at the goodness in each and everyone. And as Aruna said, that discrimination is very, very essential. Very, very essential. The swan, the saints talk about swan. Even Baba has talked about swan. So when milk and water is mixed, swan only sucks in the milk and leave out the water. So in such a way, as parents, discriminate the things and take in what is good and discard what is bad. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother. Sairam. Thank you very much.
So, Sairam, brother. So, I can tell a story. I went 10 years ago. I went to see one of my friends. Then I saw a guru was there. He's wearing orange robe and some disciples also there. So after talking to my friend when I'm leaving, then I said to the person, Sairam. Then when I'm leaving, I heard he was saying, oh, even these guys are telling Sairam still, Baba is not normal in the world. So I thought, then even the guru, and he has some disciples too, he doesn't understand what's the meaning of Sai. See all in others, God. But so I can't get angry. Everyone has, even though it's a guru, we can't expect they have all the knowledge with other whatever we following. So we should not be affected, even though he said, put me down too. So that is my experience.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to say something, please? If not, we will move on. Sairam, Sister Kalyani, I think there is one little paragraph in this chapter, and then you read that, and then you can move on.
Oh. Devotee, I am indeed blessed this day. On account of them, you have vouchsafed to me the light of wisdom. Seeing all this, I feel that the saying, all is for our good, is true. Henceforth, whatever anyone may say, I will be patient and won't take it in, because all is for our good. Salutations, namaskaram. Allow me to take leave. Chapter 3, the external world, internal world, and Bhagawan. Swami, oh, when did you arrive? You were not visible anywhere outside. Are you well? Devotee, I came 2 days ago. I see here a number of people everywhere outside. I hear the incessant confusion of voices. Coming from my place to avoid that confusion, I find here crowds also. Therefore, I came inside. There it is fine, blissful, quiet. That is why I was inside the hall. It is as quiet inside as it is restless outside. Swami, what is special about this? It is natural. Where there is sugar, the ants gather. And between outside and inside, this is the distinction. That is the characteristic. That is how it is.
Thank you, Sister. Sairam, everyone. So I think just to set for anyone, what Swami is talking about. So in Prashanthi Nilayam, there's a mandir hall where the bhajans are held. Means there's the old, I think you can still visit that old bhajan hall where the altar is there, where the pujas takes place even today. That's where that hall used to be the inside the hall. Whereas outside, generally people gather for darshan and some people stay on. And I think when Swami is not there, especially in those days, people may be talking and there may be some noise. So this devotee who had come found that to be very distracting. So he had gone inside the bhajan hall and he was staying there. Even I think during Swami's darshan, it looks like, because Swami says, I have not seen you for 2 days. So that means he was more or less hiding inside, and Swami didn't notice him, at least physically. So that's what he's referring to. So I will open it up for any discussion here, if anyone has any thoughts about what Swami has said here.
I want to jump in here. Sorry for to Kaljani's point. Last paragraph she was reading. It's a good word in there. It's sort of a mantra. All is for our good. That I was listening to one of those discourses, not the discourses, but talk by Aravind Balasubramanian. He's talking about idina manchi kosam. This is sort of a mantra we should be practicing in our life. That is, everything is happened for our good only. This is like a Panchachara mantra or the Akshashtra mantra. This is sort of a mantra we should be practicing it. All is, whatever it happens in our life is only for the good for ourselves. Because Swami is giving this as a prasadam. Through this, we coming out of that difficulty or whatever it is. That's we should be practicing it. That's my point on that one. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you very much, brothers. It's good. That's each of us may miss some points, and it's nice to have a study circle where everyone looks at different ways and identifies different points for all of us to benefit. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to share something, please?
Maybe I should add a little bit more onto this. Like, how do we, because what is equanimity he's talking about, and the mantra to be on equanimous is this mantra. Equanimity is who is the true bhakta, who pleases God the best. Who pleases God? The Swami loves the person who never complains on anything and on anything. He's looking for that kind of a person. That's the idea is. So to be equanimous, this is a good practice. Thank you, Sai.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you, Sai.
Sairam, brother. I would like to read that the devotees part of it. I came inside. It is fine, blissful, quiet. That I will take it as when you do everything with Swami's name, think of Swami and doing your work daily, that means that you are in. When you attach to the material world, and then I will see where you will encounter restless. This is the way I look at it. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, sisters. Thank you very much. I might, if no one else is saying, maybe I will share some things which pop up in my head. I think Swami is distinguishing between inside and outside. The inside is always quiet, outside is always restless. I guess sometimes our own inside, also inside the mind also, it's restless. But actually that is not real inside. Swami is talking about when there are sugar ants gather. So I think in this world, when anything which is attractive, which is beneficial, all kinds of people will gather. That's unavoidable, and we should not be troubled by that also. I think, as Swami say, That Swami says between outside and inside, these are the distinctions. But the ants which come only remain outside. They cannot go inside the sugar. So the thing is, I think it also means that we should not be worried about, even with God. We are always relating to God from an outside perspective, from this worldly perspective. We want something related to the world from God. And then as long as we do that, we will remain outside of the sugar and not will be able to enjoy the sugar within by going within the sugar itself. Is I thought the thought which struck me. If there's no more comments, we can continue with the next pair of question and answers, Sister Kalyani.
Devotee, Swami, I don't understand what you say. If you tell me in detail, I shall listen and be happy. Swami, you yourself said, didn't you, that there is an outside and an inside? Well, those are what we call the external world, Bahya Prapancha, and the internal world, Antara Prapancha. Now, which is the internal? Give me your idea. Devotee, you want it to come from my mouth itself? It would be so good if you speak. Well, making the questioner give out the answers is the ancient and eternal method of teaching. If those who question gave the answers, they would clearly understand the subject. The lecturing style is now different. In olden days, all the sages enabled their disciples to understand Vedanta only by this method. So come on, speak, let us see. Devotee, do you ask me to speak of the objects I have seen with the eye? Swami, not only the eye, tell me all that you have experienced and known through all the senses of cognition, the eye, the ear, etc.
Okay, thank you very much, Sister. So I think Swami wants each and every one of us to think for ourselves. What is this internal and what do we call external? Swami is talking about the internal world and the external world. And he's also saying, don't ask for answers from outside. Try to come up with your own answer from within. Does anyone have anything to say?
So, Sairam brother, is the Swami asking about the five senses we are going behind to the using the our senses worldly thing, or we have to move our thing internally, look inside? That's what he's referring.
Yeah, I mean, Swami is asking, what do we think is an external world and what do we think is the internal world? So we all say going within or going inside. So Swami is asking, what is internal? And if he's not saying anything, then Swami asks, tell me now, what do you experience? I think, so he's trying to make us understand for ourselves what we mean by these words, internal world and external world.
So external world is illusion, everything illusion, but one day it's going to be disappear. But internal is God. So that's the meaning of that.
Yeah, means I think each person will have something. I think you have said yours. We'll just go around. Sairam, anyone else would like to add?
Sairam, this is Muthukumar Sami. The external world, actually, it is impermanent and it is always changing. And at the same time, the views and concepts coming from outside also, with a lot of speculations, judgments, and assumptions, everything involved. So those may be some details, but they need not be exactly correct for individual beings. So when it comes from inside, that means inside means one's individual being. That is, it is composed of mental, intellectual, and emotional views, everything included in one personality, the individual personality. When it comes out of that personality only, it could be some, it could be reliable and valuable for the person itself. So the person who speaks, so he must be convincing such views coming from inside. If any details may come from outside, but it is very hard to accept. Therefore, temporary being, even I myself accept, but I had to explore it. I have to go into it and analyze, and all these things happen. So that's what I understand. It must be coming from my own experience and my analysis also. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Sairam, anyone would like to say something, please?
My take on this one is the external world is like a sensory perception of senses, but we have it. When the sensory world, it can drag us, even drag the mind as well towards the sensory world. But if the mind goes inward and looking for who is am I, then that takes us to the internal world. That is my understanding of this. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Sairam, my understanding is like when you say in Kadavul, we always search the God is outside, no? When is internal world, Kadavul, you go see inside, like a peace in yourself, like that's the thing. In Tamil we say Kadavul. Then you instead of searching outside the God, you have to see inside, yourself as God. Yeah, and seeing other people also God. That's what we say, Sairam.
Thank you very much, sister. Anyone else would like to come in? So based on what Sairam, brother.
Actually, in regard of God, my understanding is actually we have to go beyond the external things. That is, we have to transcend the all limitations. Actually, all limitations, we are confined into the all limitations. That's what we are called Jivatma. Jivatma is actually, it is conditioned by all external and mind, intellect, all emotions control control us. But Paramatma is beyond all limitations. So that is, God is beyond all limitations. We are limited by all these external things and our internal mental concept, intellectual, emotional, and everything. So we are limited, but we have to transcend this one. That's what I mean is we have to transcend all these limitations and objective world. Then we are one with the same Paramatman. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, brother Sairam. So maybe I will just say, someone please go ahead. Okay, I think Swami is talking about the external world, which he calls Bahya Prapancha and Antara Prapancha. Prapancha means the world which is composed of the 5 elements. So Swami is distinguishing between external world comprised of 5 elements and internal world comprised of 5 elements. In this case, Swami is referring to the outside the building and inside the building. So whoever the devotee was, he was sitting inside. But he was sitting inside, but that also was a world of its own. But it was slightly quieter. But the external world, you don't have control over. when you open your eyes and go externally in this world, so there's a world which you see. But if you close your eyes, you more or less see the same world reflected inside also. So that is our mental world. Is also composed of the 5 elements. Swami has still not gone into the concept of Atman or God in this yet, so far from what I can see. So there is, but in both the places we are seeing the same things. Like for example, I look outside, I look at a tree, I close my eyes, I can see the tree inside. But the tree inside is inside my mental world, which is still comprised of the 5 elements. So I think Swami wants us to sort of realize that there's an external world and that is reflected in our internal mind as another world also. So that's what I could read from here.
Sairam brothers and sisters, I also, when I look at this Swami's, the answer on this particular passage, and I really like the way Swami explained here. I really love it, because the ancient days, if someone asked the question, the gurus, he will bring the answer from that particular person. So Swami also lovely explained in here that the interactive method is much more effective and powerful than any other method of teaching. And by interacting with the guru or the group discussion, you can clear one by one, the making sure your understanding is correct, and the guru will bring out the answer from the person asked the question. In that way, the questioner never ever forget the answer the guru brought in from him itself. So the Swami lovely explained in here that the interactive method of discussion is very important to to bring out all the doubts to be cleared, because even in the title Sandeha Nivarini, in order to be very effective, the active discussion with the guru or the group is very important. It's lovely said in this passage. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, Sister Saira.
Maybe I should share my practical life in this part. When I read this book, I read this book over and over again before coming to this study circle. Not 3 times, 4 times, 5 times I read it. Then I asked myself that I had so many doubts arising into myself. Then as I try to find answers within myself, why did Swami says this? Why did Swami says this? What is the answer on this one? So I look at every point here and there, and I go with Mahabharata, Ramayana, what are the illustrations that has been given for this particular incidents? And I come up with the answer. Sometimes I wanted to ask questions, then all of a sudden it comes back to me into my mind. Oh, this is the answer. Then usually that's the reason I don't sometimes ask questions in this discussion, because that I wanted to ask, but that comes back into my mind. So that's a valid point. This is was mentioning that instead of guru shishya kind of thing, even within ourselves, we can put it into practice like that. We can practically do this within ourselves. That's my point is true. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. I think the study circle as a sadhana platform which Swami has established is just for this purpose. He wants each of us to come to read, ask questions, and find the answers for ourselves. Sometimes the answers may come from whatever others are speaking, but ultimately only if the outside answer matches with the answer which we come up with in ourselves, that we agree with a person who we listen to. Actually, that's a reality. Whatever anyone may say, that whatever they say may not really resonate with us unless we have an answer within ourselves which is welling from our heart, and if that matches with the person who is giving a similar answer from outside, then we know, okay, we agree with this. We understand this. So ultimately, the answers have to come from us. If we just do passively, just listening to what others are saying and just take it as is, it may not necessarily help. I think that's one of the reasons Swami, in the previous chapter, Swami saying, your own experience in your own mind. I think that is the real validity, and you should not disbelieve that. I think it again speaks to the same thing. So Swami has always encouraged us finding our own answers. That's very, very nice. We can go on. We can read the next paragraph, next pair of questions, Sister Kalyani.
Devotee. Earth, sky, water, sun, moon, wind, fire, stars, dusk, mountains, hills, trees, rivers, women, men, children, old persons, animals, birds, coldness, heat, the happy, the miserable, fishes, insects, diseases. Like these, I have seen many. Swami, enough, that's enough. This is the world, prapancha. Did you see it only today? Did it exist yesterday? Will it exist tomorrow? Devotee. Why do you ask me, Swami? It has existed like this for ages, hasn't it? Who knows for how long it will exist, or for how long it has existed?
You can read the next slide also, Sister, if you have it.
Swami, for how long it has existed, you said, right? That is what we speak of as beginningless. This external world is beginningless. Where there is external, there must also be an internal, right? Well, have you ever seen a cinema? Devotee. Ever seen? Why, Swami, the cinema is also part of the world, prapancha, isn't it? I have seen many. Swami. What did you see? Tell me. Devotee. I have seen many wonderful pictures. I have heard numerous experiences of joy and sorrow.
Maybe we will just read another slide also, Sister Kalyani, because I think then it will make it much better.
Swami, I have seen you say, the screen is one, the picture is another. Did you see both? Devotee, yes. Swami, did you see the screen and the picture at the same time? Devotee, how is that possible, Swami? When the picture is seen, the screen is not visible. When the screen is visible, the picture is not seen. Swami, right. The screen, the pictures, do they exist always? Keep going, or?
Yeah, I think one more sentence you read and then we can discuss.
Oh. Devotee, no, the screen is permanent. The pictures come and go.
Okay, I think that's good. Thank you. So, Sairam, everyone, I think Swami is trying to get us to understand what is external, what is internal, what is their relationship, what is permanent, what is not so permanent, what stays forever, what goes on forever. Because I think these are things which we experience on a regular basis, but we don't spend much time analyzing this. Because of that, we just get caught and feel troubled. We think this external world is troubling us. And then we go internally. We're trying to run away from what we think is an external world. So I think Swami is trying to solve all that problem here, trying to get us to understand what is external, what is internal. Swami is giving the analogy of a theater, a cinema theater, where a screen and pictures come and go. I think I will just stop here. Does anyone have something to discuss, or you can read further? I think the next week. But if you have any impressions, thoughts, strike you here, please share.
Sairam, brother.
Sairam, brother.
So, Swami saying same thing like gold. If we take the gold, we can make so many different instruments. But we are attracted to the designs and everything, but we don't think that the originality of the gold. But it make different pictures and different design. Same thing, world also. We have to understand the originality. Even though if we can see so many things, the God is one. We should not differentiate. That is my understanding.
Thank you, brother.
Sairam, I think you already told, but this here Swami is trying to uh, express the most the core of the Advaita philosophy. That is, and this analogy, screen and the cinema, is again in the spiritual parlance often quoted this day analogy, and Swami trying to make this core Advaita principle to make it clear. And and another, the famous often or principle nitya anitya vastu vivekam means what is permanent and what is impermanent. So to make it clear, Swami is using this. And in Thirumandaram also, in Tamil, there's that particular மரத்தை மறைத்தது மாமதையானை மரத்தில் மறைந்தது மாமதையானை பரத்தை மறைத்தது பார்முதற் பூதம் பரத்தில் மறைந்தது பார்முதற் பூதம். So if you see an elephant made of wood, when you see the elephant, you don't see the wood. If you think is wood, then you don't see the elephant. So same way, when you see the world is actually superimposed, on the Brahman, and when you see Brahman, you don't see the world. When you see the world, you don't see the Brahman. So that core Advaita philosophy Swami is trying to drive home here. Thank you, Sai.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Sairam, only one minute. So the external, even Bhagawan Baba is God avatar, and he is external, and so without external we cannot go internal. So external, start from the external, and the full concentration we are focusing on Swami. That concentration gives us the internal experience. So both are important, even though Advaita is the last meaning, that external is important as well as internal. Both are very, very necessary. That's why the God creation is like that. From one to we go to the other. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brothers. Thank you very much. So I think we will. Sairam, please go ahead.
Uncle, I think one way to look at it, correct me if I'm wrong, Uncle, but would be when we see God as a form, and then we see the name. We have so many names of gods, like Krishna, Rama. We have so many forms, and I think when Swami talks about permanent and impermanent, the forms are not permanent, whereas the names are permanent. That's one way to see it, right, Uncle?
Thank you. Yes.
There's many names of the God, but that the names are what's permanent.
Yes. The name is more permanent than the form. So right. I think yes. So I think what we will do is, it's about 10:20. We will close for today. I think you can read and think about internal, external, and who we are and where's God in all this. And we can convene again next week to continue our study of this book, Swami's book. With Samatha Loka, we will close. Okay, Sai. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino bhavantu samastaloka Sukhino bhavantu samastaloka Sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Peace.